Well, I'm guessing I should actually be adding it off of here for the roughness. Not off of the other side. Let's see what that looks like in the real fake world. Gosh, actually putting some detail on this stuff now, what's kind of bugging my eye, I think, is that the water isn't moving up and down against the rocks. And I'd want like some simple vertex deformation going on. I don't want to do that, but I could. Alright, rough edge opacity. What about the calm edge opacity? Calm shore edge opacity. Calm water opacity. Alright, so let's count the effects. We've got the calm shore edge, calm water, held ripple, surface noise, rough shore edge. Do we have water motion opacity? Water direction. Alright, let's call this water motion opacity. Alright, so water motion opacity it is. Alright, so it's not rough watercolor, it's moving watercolor. Well, that's interesting. From like way out here it looks all like a strobe light, but you get closer and it looks just like noise. So this is supposed to be our roughness, and we have an add there, so we're adding 1 to it. Oh, roughness is a parameter, alright. Is this 1 minus? Because, like, the more this is here, the more it's supposed to be. No, this is the more white it is. Alright, so we have roughness min and roughness max is what we need here. Something like this. So hopefully we should have less reflective water in areas where it's all sorts of screwed up. Let's take a look and see if it actually did what it's supposed to. Yeah, it looks alright. So you got roughness min and roughness max. Very cool. Alright, so what I need to do now is I need to start the long march of updating shader variables for the object. And then we can play with a bunch of sliders and garbage. It already has like 2 million goddamn variables in here to mess with though, which is really funny. But you know, if you've already got 100 different variables to screw around with, what's 100 more? It's already a complicated piece of garbage. So if I need to count how many of these things I actually have to parameterize, it is about 60 or 50 different things that you can change on the water shader. That's a lot of shit I gotta put in here. Alright, so let's just have like maybe a Boolean variable for just toggling effects on and off. So let's see, rough shore edge. And let's put this in a category of overall effects. So rough shore edge, calm shore edge, surface noise, calm water, edge ripple, and water motion. Alright, so we're going to have some local variables here, which is going to be rough edge up, calm shore up, surface noise up. The op stands for opacity. Calm water up, edge ripple up, water motion up. And this is the unsung part of game development, where you're making assets that other people can then actually go throw in the game, and it just takes for goddamn ever to do it. Like making something that can be a waterfall and also be a water, river and a lake and some other bullshit. Like it just takes time. But it's pretty cool when you get it all hooked up. It's kind of like rigging up an object for Maya or something else. When you actually finally get your rigged character, and then you can make them jump and stand, dance around and crap like that. It's really cool. Alright, so calm water. And we can pass these into the shader. Once we get all these variables set up, we'll have a few things that we can actually set. Surface noise is next. And this is one of those things with game development that is just, I guess, not always well known, I guess, is sometimes you just gotta sit your ass in a chair and drag a whole bunch of crap around. And nothing's gonna work if you don't do it. You know, like, how does your RPG game work? Somebody sits down and makes a whole hell of a lot of items and rigs up all the stats, and then they gotta tune them, and they gotta tune them over and over and over and over again. When, you know, somebody's like, they just found out that, you know, this bleed back ability is OP as hell. And you're like, oh god, I gotta rebalance every freaking item in the game again. Or we just added something else and just, I gotta go through 8,000 lines of XML, or I need to go through 1,000 items, update everything. So you just gotta mess with all this garbage, one at a time. Though at least we don't have to like physically wire all this bullshit up in, you know, the real world. That would be just hilarious. Like if we had to do all this crap in punch cards, and then like somebody comes by and spills coffee on it, and you're like, oh, you son of a bitch. And then you get your gun, you're just like, you done screwed up now. Alright, so this is all this like flagging of this bullshit. So we need to actually set all these on the material. Alright, so we're gonna set scalar parameter value for all this stuff. Alright, so I'm just gonna assembly line these in here. Oh man, this is so interesting. I just love wiring stuff up. Just oh man, that's part of my day. I wake up and I'm like, hey, I want to do something tedious. And I'm like, yeah, tedium. That's what I live for. That's what I do with my life. And I go into my basement and I'm like, yeah, this is how this shit gets started. I'm like, you know what I should do? I should turn on Twitch because I should broadcast how tedious everything is because reasons. Alright, calm shore edge opacity. Yeah, exactly. Alright, this is the rough edge. opacity. This is the calm shore opacity. This is the surface noise opacity. And this is the water motion opacity. This is the edge ripple opacity. Alright, well, let's save that out. And what I should be able to do now is this gets set all the time. So I should be able to just do these overall effects. And then like turn them on and off, and you would expect stuff to actually work, and then it doesn't work, and then you're just like, well, shit. What did I screw up now? It's just some basic stuff. Alright, so we can turn on and off the shore edge up there. And we can turn off the calm shore edge. I don't even see it doing a damn thing. It's calm shore noise opacity. Alright, we can turn the surface noise on and off. We can turn the calm water effect on and off. Doesn't seem to work. It's calm water opacity. And what did I put in? I just put in the wrong value. Alright, so we can turn the calm water effects on and off. And we can turn on and off the edge ripples. What about the motion? Alright, so you know, we have just effectless water, and we can add in motion. We can add in edge ripples. We can add in the calm water effects. We can add in the surface noise. We can add in the calm shore edge. Doesn't do anything. We have the rough shore edge over there. And the calm shore edge. Well, that's the calm shore stuff. So the calm water is turning it off. Alright, so what has to happen is this has to be moved up to here. Alright, so we can turn the calm water edge on and off. Excuse me. We can turn on and off the surface noise and the water motion and everything else. So, boom, 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 boom. We can toggle all of our effects on and off. Gar. I might need to take a break. What in the hell is Adam making there? Jesus Christ. If you haven't seen what Adam's messing with, he's creating this horrifying eyeball monster. Well, just horrible, you know, vagina monster thing. That's something out of Bloodborne. Jesus. It's an Umber Prowly? No, that is a horrifying vagina monster. That's what that is, and everyone should stay. That is not cute. That is a disgusting monster. His channel should be banned from Twitch for drawing such an abomination. I'll tell him. No, I don't want to talk to somebody who... Anyone who draws crap like that is just mentally unstable, so... I don't think I'm gonna talk to him ever again. Well, what I need to do here is I need to just like power through some of this crap because I need this to actually just work. And it's just going to take time to do. So we'll do it at one step at a time. So add more variables here. This is going to be, let's do the edge ripple floats. So let's just get all these things out in here. Yeah, there's kind of a mode that I kind of get in after a while with this sort of stuff, and I think it has to do with when I lived in Seattle. If you get stuck in traffic, you could be upset about it, but there's no damn point. You're gonna be where you are for like 2 hours, so just accept it and move on. Alright, so edge ripple stuff. Good. I've got all that in there. Let's get this set finished. Okay. Okay, so edge ripple waviness should be 0.4. Alright, so 0.4. We'll go from 0 to 1, 2, or whatever. Ripple waviness speed. Ripple waviness actually should be from 0.5. Ripple waviness speed should be default to 0.4. We're going to go from 0 to 2. Alright, edge max. Clicked on the other window, Unreal. You could at least do me the honor of detecting it. Alright, so it's going to be 0.7. We're going to allow you to go from 0 to 1. Right, edge ripple thickness is usually 8. So this will be 8. And we're going to allow you to go from 1 to 16. Alright, so edge ripple period is 0.4. We're going to allow you to go from 0 to 1. Period offset. Period offset is 10. Alright, so 10. We're going to go from 0 to 30. Ripple noise speed. So, okay, this is 0.4. So allow you to go from 0 to, 5. I don't know, whatever. So how many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It also reminds me of, there was this one class that I took in high school. It was like stats, but it was the only online course that they offered for my high school. Well, the one that I took at least. It was the only one I took in high school. And I didn't do any of the homework until, it was like an AP class too. So what that means was, it's a class in high school you could get college credit for, but you had to basically pass this college equivalency test at the end of the course, and it was like an official test. You had to go pay money to take it. But basically the whole point of the course was to pass the test at the end of the year. So basically I didn't do any of the homework whatsoever and didn't study a damn thing until like a week before the test. And in that week, I think it was like one night, I did the entire course. This is edge max, edge thickness. And it was pretty funny because like I didn't find this out until like I think last year, but apparently they called home and they're like, are you for real? Did you do this guy's homework? Did you, the parent, do this guy's homework for him? She's like, hell no, I didn't. I'm not gonna do that crap. He can fail the class for all I care. All right, so this is thickness. All right, so period offset, and then noise speed. But I got a 5 out of 5 on the test, so I passed it. But the fun thing was, so I basically like got a whole course there, and I did all the work, and I remember sitting there, that one night where I did everything, and it was probably took me like 10 hours or more of just sitting there and doing stats homework. Which stats homework is like, statistics is interesting because it's pretty much just a whole bunch of mathematical bullshit. And it literally is just mathematical bullshit. There's nothing else to it. Like it's taking math and making bullshit out of it. That's what you do. Like it's pretty simple actually. I mean, I should say it's not simple, but it's more intuitive math. So if you somehow have a grasp on how math and reality intersect, stats usually for some people can be very, very like, this just makes sense. But it was pretty cool because you did it all at once, and like all these things that come together, you just kind of get, because you're like, oh yeah, this relates to this other thing that I did, like an hour ago. Interesting. Yeah, it was fun. Got out of that class. Like, I was just sitting there basically thinking, it's like, well, I have to get all this stuff done now. Like, if I do it next week, the test is over, and I'm just like doing all this work for no goddamn reason because, I'll have basically failed the test because I won't know what the hell I'm doing with anything here. It is difficult though. I don't know. Some people's brains are wired differently. Like some people can, imagine visual shapes in their head just like it's nothing, and everybody's built a little differently. We call it bulimic learning. That's I call it procrastinating. Like that's just not doing your fucking job. You're just like, I don't give a shit about you know, the actual goal of learning the course. All I care about is learning just enough to get through this stupid ass test and never do this again. Alright, so supposedly we've got our edge ripple stuff hooked up and shaderified. So what we should be able to do is click on our water, turn everything off, except that edge ripple, and we need to add the edge ripple opacity in here. And we're going to set this to 1 by default, and it's going to go from 0 to 1. Actually, let's do from like 0 to 3, because it totally does make sense to have something that is larger than that. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this edge ripple op by this, because it's either going to be 0 or 1, so we could just multiply it straight through and it'll work properly. Alright, so if we turn the edge ripple on, we can then change the ripple opacity to higher or lower. We can then change the waviness. We can change the speed. We could change the edge max. I guess it should be like 1 minus this or something. Yeah, it should be 1 minus that value. So let's do 0.3. It should go from 0 to 1. We should rename it from ripple edge max to edge ripple distance. And we should do a, there's not a 1 minus in here, so we just have to do a 1 minus thing here. Because we want to take these concepts and turn them into, you know, things that people would understand. Alright, we have the thickness, so we can make it like super thin or not. And all this really needs is a variable name change. It shouldn't be called thickness, it should be called drop off. Alright, period. Doesn't really do a whole hell of a lot for us. That's okay. Offset? And our opacity. Alright, so we totally got that covered. Do we have the color for it? Yeah, let's get that color going on. We need it. We should put it up in the watercolors up here. So let's see, what is the edge ripple color called? It's called, surprise, surprise, edge ripple color. I guess I can't paste that straight up. I have to copy this value here. Like so. So we can go in here and we can change the edge ripple color. And then it doesn't do a damn thing because I haven't hooked it up yet. That seems pretty reasonable. Alright, so we need the, what is it, set vector parameter value. Let's call it edge ripple color. So snag it, chuck it in here. And now we can have blood flowing. How come it doesn't work? And this is again one of those things that I need to remember. This is not emissive. This is diffuse. So the reason that there's no red here is because there is no red light in this cave. Because that's white right there. Versus that's green, you know. We're not going to get much red. It's interesting. In some other games, that would be the water right there. Would basically be something like that or whatever, and be like, "Yay, water!" With the, you know, a little bit more other stuff, which is probably just fine. Alright. Alright, so all that is online. So let's make sure I don't have to do all that crap over again. Alright, next section. The next section is the surface noisiness. Alright, surface noise. We have got the surface noise size. This thing's not super amazing to deal with. And I think we're going to need another one here, which is surface noise opacity. So we'll get some of this rolling along here. It's just a lot of stuff to hook up. Like if you want to make these fully rigged objects that can do all this sorts of crazy crap, you're just going to have to burn a hole in your hand. And this is where it might be easier just to do all this crap in C++ land, because it's easier to copy paste this shit when it's actual text, as opposed to dragging around a bunch of physical objects like I'm in 3rd grade. So yeah, I'm just pasting stuff in here. This is how we get this to work. Well, at least I do have something to look forward to here. Didn't the last Game of Thrones come out just a little bit ago? Because it's now Monday, and I haven't watched that, so I'll be able to watch it. So I at least got that to look forward to. God, I hope they kill Theon. I hope they kill him someday. I don't like him. I hate his character. I guess we're supposed to hate him. But Jesus Christ, that guy. Alright, so we want the surface noise color as well. Surface noise color. So I guess I shouldn't say anything like that on Twitch, because then somebody will spoil it. But then I'm not really the kind of person who really gives a shit about spoilers. Like some people are like, oh, don't spoil it for me. It's just like, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it again later anyway. Alright, so we got the stuff in here. Let's make sure we got the ripple, the surface noise color set up properly. Surface noise color. Alright, cool. So we should be able to mess with this stuff. I'm going to have to get all the defaults set up. Yeah. And, like, I already read all the books and everything, and then, like, you know, watching the show, did not, I was not like, oh my god, this is, I already know what's going on, this is boring, but no, it's fine. But I think it was one of the most hilarious things ever. Was like I was with one of my friends. Well, actually, more than one of my friends. Surprisingly, I do have more than one friend, and even more surprisingly, they actually know it. And we're all in the same room. We're playing Smash Brothers at Amazon. When, you know, like The Force Awakens came out, right? So surprise, Force Awakens spoilers. If you have not seen The Force Awakens, I don't know what you're doing with your life, or you just hate Star Wars, in which case you don't really give a shit anyway. So, but one of the things was, you know, we're trying to avoid spoilers because one of the guys was real into like, I don't want anybody to spoil this for me. Like, I don't. It's a big. You know, don't tell me anything. And so, of course, we're playing Smash Brothers, right? And Smash Brothers, the new one, has the Miiverse stage, and all that, which is the online stage where people can submit fan art and everything. It's the best stage because it's just like 3 platforms and that's it. It's not a whole bunch of bullshit. Which if you play Smash Brothers with anybody for longer than like a half hour, you're like, all right, I've had enough of this stage gimmicky shit. Can we just actually have a fair fight here? And they always have like funny things in the background. So one of the things, of course, was, you know, they had a picture of like Han Solo getting run through by Kylo Ren, and Han Solo dies, you know, in the middle of us playing Smash Brothers, and like, you know, like you're just kind of you see the images in the background while you're playing and all that stuff. And like, you know, I think I said it because I was just like reading stuff. You kind of just read it while you're playing. And I just, you know, read out Han Solo dies, and then it took like 10 seconds because people's minds kind of catch up to what they're doing. And then like after 10 seconds, the guy's like, oh no, you know, like, son of a bitch, and he just like puts the controller down and walks out. He's just like, fuck. And that's how playing Smash Brothers ruined The Force Awakens for one of my friends. Anyway, surface noise size is 10 by default. So let's go from 0 to 50. Surface noise offset is 10. Let's go from 0 to 50. Surface noise speed is 0.4. Let's go from 0 to 2, sure. Cosine opacity is 0.1 and 0.1 for these two. Do 0 to 0.5. Alright, let's just do 0 to 1 for both of them. And the surface noise opacity itself should go from 0 to 1. 0 to 3. How about that? There were a lot of really funny things in Miiverse. Like, that was always our favorite stage to play on because just how much random crap was in the background. You know, a lot of like, a lot of things like, you know, Peach best waifu, and a lot of comments on Zero Suit Samus and parts of her body. I think my favorite one was like half of the Donkey Kong ones where Bush did 9/11 with a really angry Donkey Kong on the face of it. I always had a kick out of that.